Hi crafty friends, thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are going to be focusing on how to use glossy accents to create cards that look good enough to eat. Who doesn't love a chocolate biscuit cookie? When I was a kid, I loved these little petit écolier cookies that have this chocolate on top and then this biscuit underneath. And when I saw the latest release from Spellbinders and I saw the scalloped edge rectangle, that was immediately this first thing that I thought of, the way that those scalloped rectangles kind of layer and nest on top of each other. And I thought, how cute an idea that would be for a card. But then I was like, how do I make that? Well, you'll see how I made that. And I think it came out pretty good. I actually had people, when they saw the picture, think that they were real cookies. And I thought that was just really fun and a really cute idea. So this is what they're going to look like. This is our end result, and these are actually the entire thing is actually a card. So the plate that it's sitting on is actually the card base as well, and then I have the cookies as sort of the embellishment on top. I used glossy accents to create this effect, to make it kind of raised and to make that chocolate look really real. And when I was making this card, I thought, you know what, I can use the glossy accents to make other kind of food things look really real too. So that's what I did. So the other cards in this video are also food related, made with glossy accents. I'm going to be making this ice cream cone card with these little sprinkles on them and the glossy accents for the ice cream. And then I have a delightfully delicious strawberry card where the strawberries look good enough to eat. This die set came with 3 layering scalloped rectangles. And there wasn't one quite the size that I wanted for the biscuits that I was going to make. So I took that smallest of the rectangles and I actually die cut it, and I die cut it twice. So I ran it through, had one die cut, and then I used the edge of it and just kind of did a partial die cut. That way I was able to split them both in half but still have the scalloped edge. I cut these out of just cream colored cardstock, and now we're going to go ahead and make them look more like baked cookies. So I'm just taking some distress ink and a little dauber and just kind of on the edges of the cookies, giving them that nice baked effect. Went through my different rectangular die cut sets that I had, and I just picked one that would fit just on the inside of the little biscuit that we're making to be the chocolate. So I just cut those rectangles out of dark brown cardstock, and then that's going to be the chocolate that we're going to have. Now I wanted an embellishment in the center of the chocolate, and especially for a greeting card. I debated about using the little thanks in there, but I wasn't sure how well that would come out because this is an experiment. This is the first time I'm doing this. So I thought a heart might be a visible shape that would work well on this. The heart shapes that I'm using also came with the die set that I got, and there are layering hearts in there as well, so a variety of sizes that you could use. I wanted those hearts to stand out a little bit from the chocolate layer that was going to be underneath, so I just went ahead and I daubed them as well, just to kind of give the edges a little bit more definition and to make them stand out from the background that they were going to be on. I did raise these up on some foam squares, just again to give it some more definition and to make it stand out a bit from the background, because I didn't want it to like blend in so much that you wouldn't be able to tell that there are hearts there. I'm leaving this next part in, but I ended up not using this for the card. I originally had thought that I wanted to have kind of a bite taken out of one of the biscuits to kind of really illustrate that it was a biscuit, that's what it was supposed to be. But then I ended up not using that, and so that part gets covered up later. But if you're wondering why there's a corner missing of one of the biscuits as I go through making this card, that is the reason why. Next part is where the magic happens. Now this is where you really get that effect of an actual chocolate cookie. These glossy accents will be raised, so it's kind of like a clear glue. It dries very, very clear, crystal clear, almost like a resin, I would say, but it's very easy to handle. It goes on very quickly in this squeeze bottle, and it does dry fairly quickly. It starts to dry fairly quickly. It takes a while to actually set, but it will start to get pretty tacky when you're working with it, so you do want to work fairly quickly. Now I went around the heart shaped first because I wanted to be able to kind of get underneath the die cut there where I had raised it a little bit. It will go on milky white, but it will dry clear. If you get any little air bubbles in there, you'll just want to pop those with a pin, but it really shouldn't be too much of an issue. Now you're going to want to set this aside for at least 24 hours to dry. I know that's hard when you're card making and you just want to keep going, but trust me, I have ruined too many embellishments and die cuts and things like this by not waiting the time for this to dry completely. Even a little more than 24 hours is good if you want to be on the safe side. I used a large circle die here to die cut, partially die cut this card base, and this is what I'm going to use as kind of the plate that my biscuits are going to sit on. I'm just tracing a circle now using one of the dies because I kind of wanted to create that indentation that, you know, plates have, kind of give this a little bit more depth. Now I did decorate this plate even though I really didn't need to in hindsight, but I didn't know how much was going to be visible underneath, and I really wanted to make it look like, you know, these cookies were on a plate like you would be serving at tea time. So I did go ahead and decorate it. It might have been a little bit of overkill, but I don't regret it. I think these transfers are so pretty. That's what these are. They're just transfers. They're not stickers. I like transfers because they don't have kind of that raised edge that stickers often do. So this just seems really seamless on the paper. And these are just such a cute design. They're kind of like a Scandinavian, I don't know what you would call it, but I really like the design. And it was at the Dollar Tree. So it was just $1.25 for this entire thing of stickers, not stickers, transfers. This entire thing of transfers. After waiting for the biscuits to dry, I'm just going ahead then and gluing these directly onto my plate. I did place these under a block of paper just to help it kind of settle down and dry flat, so you may want to do that as well. I wanted to create a sentiment for this. This set didn't come with a sentiment, so I decided to go ahead and use the Cricut Joy to create a sentiment. I think it says, I hope your day is as sweet as you are. In hindsight, I would have had this write it directly on the card itself, but I didn't think about that until after I had already created the card, so I ended up just gluing the sentiment on the inside, which is fine, but it does make it look a little less polished. So in hindsight, I would go ahead and write on the card base before I did any of the rest of the card. And there you go. Now that is the completed card, and you'll be able to see on the inside here what that looks like. I added some the transfers as well, and I think it just looks absolutely adorable. There's space to write your sentiment, but I think those cookies look so realistic, and I just love how that turned out. I'm so glad I did this little experiment with the Glossy Accents. So stick around, we're going to do a few more little experiments that, again, like you guys, I don't plan out my cards, so you're learning along with me, but I think this is definitely a trick that I'm going to use again, and I'd love to see if you guys use it as well. So earlier this fall, I had bought myself the Spellbinders Advent Calendar, which came with everything you see here. I had done a video where I had unboxed the Advent Calendar and done all of that, and I accidentally lost the footage, and then I couldn't replicate it because my husband had thrown away the Advent Calendar box, which was very kind of him. He cleaned up my space, and I cannot fault him for throwing it out. He didn't know, but I couldn't replicate it. But anyway, this is everything that you get in the Advent Calendar. It was quite a lot of stuff, and I'm using the elements of the Advent Calendar for my next two cards. Not everything, obviously, but just a couple of them. I'm using my favorite Distress ink blending trio here. This makes the perfect rainbow color, and I love rainbow because I'm not the greatest at color matching, color theorist, and all of that kind of stuff. So at least I know a rainbow will always look good, so that is what I tend to default to. But so using the picked raspberry, mustard seed, and peacock feathers, you get a really lovely rainbow because those colors combined make the other colors of the rainbow. So like the pink and yellow make orange, and then the yellow and blue make green, and then you can even use the blue and pink to make a purple. I'm blending these all together, and then I'm going to use the embossing folders, two of the embossing folders that came in the Advent Calendar. One is kind of like a polka dots, and then the other is kind of like an ornate kind of trellis design. And I went ahead and cut out the different elements that make the ice cream cone. So you have the base layer there, and then you have the kind of upper layer that kind of creates that design of kind of the waffle cone, and then the different elements for the actual ice cream. And then putting those all together, I'm giving them a little more depth and dimension using some distress inks that I'm just kind of daubing on there, and then I'm going to go ahead and put them together. The ice creams I'm having match the background, so I'm using those same distress ink colors to make the different flavors of ice cream. After gluing everything together, I went ahead and I put this on a scrap piece of plastic because I thought if I do this and the glossy accents kind of spill over and it spills over onto paper, I'm never going to get those things unstuck, and I really don't want to have to redo this. Whereas plastic, especially clear plastic, I could probably cut around it. It might be easier to kind of just pull off without destroying the rest of it. So that was my thought process there. I just put a piece of cardstock underneath so it would be easier to transport. At the Dollar Tree in that resin section, again, I also found these really cool like fruit slices. I think they're made out of like Fimo clay kind of stuff, and so they're really adorable. They have like little strawberry slices, lime slices, orange slices, and I just thought as kind of, instead of a cherry on top, I just put those slices that match the color and the flavor on top of the ice cream cones. Now I'm adding the glossy accents on just the ice cream part of the ice cream cones, and then I'm going to go ahead and I have different colors of sprinkles that I'm going to add in. Now these sprinkles are from the Dollar Tree. They came in like in a pack of like 8 different sets of colors of sprinkles, and these are faux plastic sprinkles. They're not real. You don't want to use real because from what I've seen other people do when they use it with like resin is that it does actually start to melt and it kind of gets all disgusting and gross and goes bad. You don't want to do that. So use the fake plastic stuff. And this is from the Dollar Tree, and it was not very expensive. Like I said, like $1.25 for a pack of 8 of them, lots of different colors, and I'm just sprinkling them on top of the glossy accents. After I sprinkle it on top of the glossy accents, I then add a little bit more glossy accent to make sure that it stays there completely, and I wanted to make it look like the sprinkles are really integrated into the ice cream. Okay, I know you guys are going to be shocked to see me actually measuring anything because I never measure anything, always by the seat of my pants. But this, because I'm going to have that embossed background at the top there, it needs to kind of line up so that it doesn't look wonky. So I am taking the time to measure. This happy birthday sentiment was also part of the Advent kit. Just propping this up on some foam tape, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue the ice cream cones onto this embossed piece here. Now just a reminder that you do want to let the ice cream cones dry. My guess is probably for at least 24 hours. That might be overkill because these are small pieces, unlike the chocolate biscuits that we did, but it's still better to be safe than sorry in my opinion. So just set them aside for a day, come back to them. These sequins I'm using here are also a part of the Advent calendar kit. And there is our second delectable card, all set, ready to give out. I think it's just delicious looking, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Now moving on to our next card, we're doing the same thing, but this time with the strawberry die cuts. And again, this is also from the Advent calendar. Now, I do think the Advent calendar is sold out online on Spellbinders, but I do believe that there are some retailers who might still have some, like scrapbook.com or some other retailers that might have some leftover kind of holiday items. I love this little 1960s style hello, and I think it's so cute with the background halo around it. It just lends it just, I don't know, a really interesting look. It's not a type of font that I have of any other dies, so I think I'll get some good use out of this one. All these little mini flowers and leaves also came as part of the strawberry set. Now, something to keep in mind with the strawberry set is that those little seeds that kind of pop out from the strawberries, you do want to put something in the background there, or whatever color, whatever it is that is there will shine through. So I didn't want there to be, red shining through like the spot where the seeds are. So I did glue some black backing onto those strawberries. Card comes together pretty easily and quickly once those die cuts are together, with the exception being obviously that the strawberries, which we are going to use the glossy accents on, will need to again dry for 24 hours. Those strawberries are dry, you can then put everything else together. I just popped one up on some foam tape, just kind of putting it in front of the others for some dimension, and then again added the other embellishments all around it. So there is our last card complete. I think it looks just yummy, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's just a nice, simple card to send to somebody, and those sparkles again are from the kit. So I hope you enjoyed this. I would love to see what you guys make if you make anything using this technique with the glossy accents, and please follow along, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you next time.